Hello, everybody. Good evening. It's Wednesday night. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesday with Amelia and Felix. We are here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And while we're waiting for some people to hop on, Raphael will also be joining us tonight. While we're waiting for some people to hop on, tell us what you're drinking. And Felix, what are you drinking tonight for Wind Down Wednesday?
Well, staying with the classics, Pinot Grigio. I like white wine, so Pinot Grigio I'm having.
I love white wine. As you're popping on, please say hello. I see we've got 3 people on. Amazing. Awesome. I'm just opening up Facebook so I can better see comments. But yeah, as you pop on, please say hello. And if you're watching the replay, please give us a hashtag replay. Hey, Jeremy. Say hello and also let us know what you're drinking if you're drinking anything. I'm drinking vodka and calamansi juice, which is like a Filipino citrus fruit. And I've got some cherries in the bottom soaking up the goodness. So I haven't tasted it yet. So let's see. That's good.
That's good.
That's really good. Hey, Megan. Yeah, as you're popping on, say hello. Let us know what you're drinking. Tonight, as you know, let me say this. If this is your first time here, welcome to Wind Down Wednesday. I'm Amelia. This is my co-host, Felix. This way, this one.
And this way.
We've been, am I not? I don't know. And we do this every week throughout quarantine and beyond. And so we're here every Wednesday. We talk about different topics. And if you're back, yes, H2O, Megan. If you're back, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here with us every week and joining in the conversation. For those of you who are new or who aren't and need a refresher, or maybe you haven't been here in a while. For the last few weeks, we've been talking about Mercury retrograde because right now we are currently in the middle of Mercury retrograde. And this week is the second week of the 3-week period. And so the topic for today is really related to where we're at in the Mercury retrograde. So without going into too many details about the entire 3-week period or even pre-shadow and post-shadow, if you are interested in that, there's a lot of information on that in previous episodes. But really the first week of Mercury retrograde, and Raphael is here.
Hey,
Raphael. We're just getting started. Everyone's telling us what they're drinking and saying hello.
Nice.
So I'm so glad you're here, like at the beginning. Usually, you hop on a little bit later because you have other stuff, but I'm glad you're here. We're just getting started. So we're talking about Mercury retrograde, and it's a 3-week period in astrology that happens 3 times a year. And again, won't go into too much detail because we talked a lot in detail in other episodes. But if you do have questions, definitely pop them in the comments. But week 1 is really good for clearing out old energy. And what that looks like is decluttering, clearing out physical and digital spaces, basically getting that inbox cleared up, deleting everything in your recycling bin, clearing out old messages, old voicemails, anything digitally, physically, or energetically that's taking up space. So that's week 1 of the retrograde. And don't worry, because we're in week 2, it doesn't mean you can't clear stuff out. So it's also a good time to refresh your toothbrushes, change the sheets. It's really about a cleaning, a cleansing. And actually Daphne, who is my hey Todd, the donutologist is here.
The donutologist is here.
Wait,
best donuts ever. Best donuts ever.
Yes.
Cousins dozen.
Oh my God, I miss you, bro, and I love your product so much. I'm just glad that I'm far away from it because Lord knows if I would have had that during COVID, I would have looked like this.
No, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dangerously good.
Dangerously good.
What was I saying, guys? Okay.
Week two.
Yes, week 2. So just because we're in week 2 doesn't mean you can't keep cleansing and clearing. But week 2 now, and actually it was yesterday, last night, there's a time period in Mercury retrograde called Mercury Cazimi. And essentially what that means, it's when like Mercury is going retrograde and then it starts to like shift and like be conjunct the sun. You don't have to know what that means. All that means is it has like the power of the sun behind it. So it's a really powerful time to declare your intentions and declare what you want moving forward, especially after having cleared all of the junk and the gunk from last week or from however long, right? Because Mercury is the planet of communications, thoughts, beliefs, and all of that. And so with Mercury having the power of the sun behind it, it's a powerful time to communicate and declare what you want in your life moving forward. And actually, it kind of came up today on Quarantine Cafe, today's episode with Raphael. And by the way, I'm co-hosting Quarantine Cafe now with Raphael. Hey, oh my God, Erica's here. Hey, Erica. So what am I saying? Yes. So what came up today on the episode, one of the things was how you speak about the things that you want in your life, because the words are very, very important. And especially in a Mercury retrograde, there is an emphasis on your communication, your words, the way that you put stuff out there. And oftentimes, and especially with the clients that I work with, and I'm sure the clients that you both work with, it's important emphasis on that. Like, are we saying, I'm never going to lose weight, or there are no good men in the world, or I'm never gonna get paid doing what I love. Like, if we're saying those things, that is essentially what we're putting out into the universe. So I wanted to talk about that today. So with all of that, I would love for those of you watching, if you have any particular questions or anything that you're dealing with or challenges that come up as we talk about these things, and even in this moment, please drop them in the comments so we can address them. But yeah, I would love to hear from you, Felix and Raphael, like what comes up for you as we discuss, you know, the words and powerfully declaring what you want moving forward.
First of all, I didn't even know that Mercury retrograded. So this is new for me because it's usually Venus, isn't it?
Mercury is 3 times a year. So Mercury is in retrograde the most often.
So it is Mercury. All right. So I'm totally disconnected. But okay. So I'm down for that. But yeah, getting to what you said about it's good to know that there are certain times where your declarations are always powerful, right? Because as soon as you're clear as to what your intent is and what the result is that you want to achieve, you declare powerfully and you will achieve it. However, if there are astrological or astronomical ways that might booster it, it's great to know this. Like, you know, I could have been up in the roof talking about, like, you know, I declare last night had I known this. And even if I had something,
you were on my email list, you would have known. I'm just saying. But yeah,
you on her email list? Because I mean, we have direct access to her. So are you on it?
I'll put it on here. You can get on my email list on my website. But go ahead, keep talking. I'll just put it up here. If you want to join my email list, I send out pretty frequently about all this kind of stuff, all self-love stuff. You just go to my website and join my email list there. But yeah, I did put out an email about Mercury Cazimi, which was last night, 6:30 p.m. until 3 a.m. this morning. However, you know, these portals, they're still powerful. You know, this week is a powerful week to declare moving forward anyway. So don't worry about like missing the window and think about it. You've had your whole life of missing the window. I remember when I first learned about Mercury retrograde, I was like, oh my gosh, like, have I been messing up my whole life? And it's like, no, like, you're fine, but now you know. So now you can actually work with the energy. So, you know, don't feel like you missed out, any of you watching and any of you here. But just know this week is about powerfully declaring moving forward.
Great, because you said that the first week was about cluttering, because for the past, it's Wednesday now, so the past 2 days I've been doing just that. just like going through a few things because now I have a little bit more time, and I'm like, okay, let me just like sort things out. So before I take my next step, because I know what steps I'm going to take, but before I do that, let me just take the opportunity to like really transition from Corvid spring to Corbitish summer.
Yeah.
Right. And I've gotten into the habit of just doing that, just cleaning out my spaces, especially digitally. Like I amassed like a mass of photos, like for 1,000 photos I deleted. I'm like, why do we even keep these things, right? Papers, I'm still going through them. But yeah, it's good to know that this is the week for that.
Yeah. And Shamik, actually, let's talk about this because Shamik has a really important question. Well, before even this question, he's asking if we can stream Quarantine Cafe on Facebook. We do. We stream it on Raphael's Facebook. So Rafael Moreno, he's tagged in this post. So follow him, and that's where we stream Quarantine Cafe every day. But you can also join on Zoom and actually be part of the cast and be part of the conversation. We would love to have you, Shamik. I know you have a lot of amazing things to offer and a lot of wisdom that our group can definitely use. And any of you watching, so Quarantine Cafe is on Facebook and on Zoom. So if you want to like be part of the cast like this, where you're actually on the video and with us in the conversation, you can do that. But also people opt in to just watch on Facebook like this and leave comments. So I just wanted to say that about Quarantine Cafe. And yeah, back to this question. Let's walk everyone through. He says step by step, how exactly to declare something. Does anyone want to take that first?
Felix?
Well, I mean, it's a very simple process. You want to, first of all, go within yourself. What is it that you most desire, right? Like, what are your desires in whatever area you want to do? So, for example, I would say this personally, right? So, and this is a personal thing, and it's also something that it's also something that you don't have to hold where you declare it. You can always step it up. You can always step it. It's really up to you. What I would say though is that for a lot of us, right? So I'm going to speak about resolutions. So for a lot of us, we tend to declare in resolutions usually because it's a new season, it's a new time, it's a new year.
New Year's resolutions?
I'm sorry?
New Year's resolutions? Is that what you're speaking about?
Yeah, New Year's resolution, New Year resolution. So a lot of us make declarations around New Year. A lot of us make declarations around weight, around money, around work, around relationships, around everything. And what happens with a lot of people, and I'm gonna speak around fitness because that's what I'm most well versed about. What happens with most people is that they don't continue to declare. They don't continue the conversation. This is an ongoing. When you declare once, you have to continue that conversation. You have to continue elevating, and not only declare, but then look for then you have to work backwards to, well, what are the steps in order for me to start moving forward on that? Because relatively based on where you want to go, we do work on the idea that there is no wrong or right? But also in this world, in this realm of relativity, there is wrong or right based on where you want to go, right? So if I wanted to go downtown, I can't go uptown. That's going to get me to the Bronx. Same idea. If you're trying to lose weight, you're not going to do it by not exercising. So if you have a resistance to exercising, to moving more, to figuring out how to stop ordering as much, then that's going to impact you. So there's a huge matter of awareness with that. So so taking the steps, right? So for me personally, I would say that I want to declare that I want by the end of, actually no, not by the end of, by March 2021, I would have my first book published and have sold 5,000 copies. Right. So that's a clear That's a clear declaration. You know when it's going to happen. You know what I want to do. You know how many copies I want to sell, right? And for me, it's a big, like, I got hot thinking about it, right? So like my temperature went up. So it's a simple thing, and you can do it everywhere. The problem that happens is that when we start declaring, we start going bigger and bigger and bigger, and then we're not aware of where we are, and we don't take stock and inventory of where we are. So in order to get where we want to be, right? So the first step
Where
of
you
this
are.
retrograde is decluttering, which is to let go. And this is a habit, right? This needs to be a habit. Even after retrograde, I just let go of socks that had holes in them. I let go of underwear that had holes in them. I got new underwear. I got better shirts. So you need to let go. It needs to be a habit. I see that my eggs are getting stuck in the pot in the pan that I'm cooking in. It's gone. Like, I don't even think about it. It's not helping. It's not making my life easier.
Yeah,
Right?
so what I'm hearing you say is that in order to really powerfully declare and step in, it's almost like not even the first step, it's like the pre-step. Like, you have to let go and purge and Marie Kondo or whatever
Marie Kondo the shit out of it.
Step into something new. So I would say, like, step 0 is to declutter and really recognize what is it that I need to let go of, not just physically, but also like, what beliefs do I need to let go of? So for example, if I want to have a loving partnership, I need to let go with a man. I need to let go of the belief that all men suck. And I need to let go of my fear of men and my fear of intimacy. And I need to let go of my habits of just having casual sex when I really want to have meaningful sex. Now, don't mistake that, because every time I say that, at least one person is always thinking that I'm shaming casual sex, which I'm not. I am a totally sex positive person. And so it's like, have whatever sex you want. However, for me, personally in my life, I had to let go of the lie that I was telling myself that I was okay with casual hookups when I really wasn't. And the energy of those casual hookups were taking the space of me really being open to the love that I desired. So that's step 0. Like, what is it that you need to let go of in order to then powerfully declare what you want? And then step 1 is like, okay, yeah, what do you want? And Felix said this, like, what do you desire? And he also mentioned, be specific, right?
Yes.
Because specificity, the universe loves specificity. But the thing is too, when you're being specific, don't be controlling about it. Don't be like squeezy about it, because what I like to say is the universe or God or whatever you want to use for that is a much better chess player than you are. So if you try to control all the aspects of it, then you're actually not opening yourself up energetically to the beautiful way that it can come into your life, right? Same thing with money, and I love it, Shamik, you said your resolution is creating money from new and exciting places, which was, I'm so glad that was the mantra that we talked about last week when we talked about money. So what do you have to let go of? You have to let go of the fact that people that have money are greedy. You have to let go of the fact that money is dirty or the root of all evil. So you have to let go of the fact that I'm too stupid with money. I don't know anything about finances. Like, you need to let that go and then declare, okay, what is the amount you want to make, or what is the avenue that you want to make it? And then the next step, which actually goes into Erica's question, how do you reconcile declarations with the concept of be, do, have? So let's back it up a bit, because not everyone watching knows the concept of be, do, have. The concept of be, do, have, essentially, without explaining the whole thing, because I can take hours to explain it, but it's essentially saying usually we want to have things in order to be a certain way. So I want to have a lot of money so I can be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have money to buy a car so I can be successful. I'm kind of skipping the do, because that's a lot of it.
Because it's in the middle anyways.
Yeah. So like we always say, I want to have this so I can be this. I want to have or I want to lose weight, so I want to have a smaller body so I can be sexy, right? And so it's like, I want to have so I can be. And if you just switch that, like, be sexy, be successful, be joyful, be loving, and then that will call in the things that you want to have, which is kind of a mind fuck if it's the first time you're hearing it, but just sit with that, be with it. And so if I'm understanding your question correctly, Erica, and feel free to clarify if I'm wrong, because declarations are very specific. And it's like, I want, like what Felix said, I want to sell 5,000 copies of my book by March 2021, right? Which is like, that's not a very B kind of thing. So the B comes in when it's like you really think about, what is the feeling that I believe that this declaration is going to give me, right? So let's talk about a loving partner. I'm going to feel loved, wanted, joyful, not lonely anymore. I'm going to feel excited. I'm going to feel adventurous. I'm going to feel sexy, right? So the second step is to feel all those things now, to feel all those things as if you already have it, because the way you're going to attract the things that make you feel that way is by feeling that way. And it's like a radio frequency, right? Like if you want to listen to hip hop, you know what channel you got to turn to. If you want to listen to NPR, you know what channel you got to turn to. If you want to listen to static, you know what channel you got to turn to. So the second step is that being part, that feeling part, where you want to turn to the frequency of what it is that you want. Now that's easier said than done. And like Felix said, with letting go, how it's a practice. I mean, everything that we're talking about is a practice. Even declaring is a practice. Even owning your desire is a practice. And so is feeling the way that you want to feel. And it's funny because, and I'll tell you, so when I got into my last relationship, which, you know, and I've said this before, it's to date the best relationship I've ever had. It's still the best relationship I've ever had. We're still really good friends. We love each other so much. We support each other so much. Just the partnership romantic aspect of it needed to split ways. But when we were together, there were just things that he did that I was like, I declared this. You know, like the ways of being that he was, and like the things that he said and the things that he believed, and even the way that he looked and the way that he acted, I was like, I declared you. And so it became this running joke, because I would like find old journaling, and it would like have like maybe like a couple of sentences, and I would show him, and I would be like, yo, this describes you, you know? And I wrote a letter to the universe too about how I would meet him, and the way that we would get along. And it was something like that I would meet him in a natural, organic way, and that we would hit it off really quickly and become fast friends, and that the journey from friendship to romance would be smooth and easy and natural and clear. And it was smooth, easy, natural, clear. And like I showed him all these things. And so it became this joke where I was like, guess what I found in my journal? And he was like, what? Did you find like a sketch of my face from like what you declared? And I'm telling you, one of the things that I would do, this practice that I had, was when I was driving my car, because one of the things that I really wanted was I wanted to go road tripping and joyriding with my partner and just be like la 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 and having fun. So when I would be like driving my car, I would literally put my hands like by the passenger seat and just feel like, when my man is there, like it's good, like I just would feel that. And I would be driving around LA. This was when I was living in LA, like so happy and just being like, I'm with my man, it's so good, or whatever. And then I remember I told him the first time that I was driving and holding his hand, I was like, I manifested this. So as silly as that sounds, like it's really about the feeling, because your feelings are your frequency. Like it will tell you when you're up, when you're down, and when you're, and without judgment, right? Because I'm all about self-love and compassion. So when you're down, don't be like, oh shit, I'm down. It's like, oh, I'm at a low frequency right now. How can I raise it a little bit, right? So that's really step 2 is the feelings. And then step 3 is you got to receive it. I don't know how many of my clients, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to date and I want to like attract all these people. And then it's like, oh God, this guy was like hitting on me and like, ew. And I'm like, dude, like, so you're not even receiving what it is that you're declaring. Like, now you're judging the form that it's coming in. And like, it's not like you have to marry every guy that hits on you or whatever, but it's just like, you're basically saying, oh, I declared it, now I felt it, but now I'm like a big old fuck you to what's coming in. And so those are really like the 3 simple steps, like declare it, own it, feel it, and then you actually have to receive it, and trust that it will be coming in. So that's what I have to say. I'm just going to look at these comments and feel free to jump in, Raphael.
That's hot. I mean, mine is a little bit more complex because I have a
Ellie's in the building. Oh my gosh.
Who's in the building?
Ellie Els.
Ellie.
Ellie Els. What's up, Ellie Els? We love you, Ellie Els. We love you, Ellie Els. I had so much fun at your birthday. Thank you for inviting me. I love you. I hope you have a great day.
And Bobby, so many people are jumping in, and so many people, thank you so much for being here. Please say hello as you're on so that we can say hi to you, and definitely drop your comments and questions. Yeah, Rap, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, so I have 8 steps.
I'm mad loud.
Right. So
8
steps. Damn. Get your notebooks out, y'all.
Yeah.
Get your notebooks out. Hold up.
We're gonna as well.
Notepad here.
Yeah, but the 8 steps are, first of all, and we've gone through a lot of them that you mentioned, both of you actually. 1, letting go.
Mm-hmm. Letting go.
Understanding that if you want to attract something into your life, it's going to be a new energy. And sometimes for that new energy to come in, you have to let go of old energy that isn't working for you. What can you let go in your life that's no longer suiting you or serving a purpose? So step number 1 is letting go. Step number 2 is, what do you want? Creating clarity around what it is. Like, all right, you might feel like you're stuck and you want to move out. To do what? Do you want to move into a house or an apartment? Do you want to stay in the city? Do you want to go into the country? Specifically, what is it that you want? What would create the change that you want to attract into your life right now? Creating clarity.
Clarity, boo. What do you want?
Always. And then step number 3 is setting smart goals. Is this
a 3?
Yeah, that's 3.
Okay.
2 was clarity, and what do you want? 3 is setting.
Oh, yeah.
You are a bad note taker.
Listen, I'm learning.
So step number 3 is setting smart goals, right? Is it attainable? It's great to want to aspire to have $1 million in your bank account in 30 days. Is that realistic? Unless you're a real estate mogul, is it realistic? Do you want to set that goal for in 10 years you'll have $1 million? What's more realistic? What can you work with right now that's achievable? Right? So that's step number 3. Step number 4 is write it out. There is an intrinsic power that
my favorite word.
I probably picked it up from you. So there's this power that we have, right? That it's like once we think it, it's birthed for the first time. When we write it out, there's a powerful manifestation that happens when you actually put your pen to paper, and it's not electronic. Actually write it out. Take a pen. This might look prehistoric to some of you, but take a pen, write it out on a piece of paper. Write it out specifically now that you've created clarity, what it is that you want. And then after that, step number 5 is powerfully declare it. Take that piece of paper, stand in front of a mirror, stand in front of an audience, stand in front of anyone who would listen, and declare what you're going to achieve and by when. Step number 6 is create a system of accountability. A lot of times we'll do all those steps, but let's be honest, if it's a goal that you really want and something that you have to fight for, there's no way that you're not going to run into a bump or a barrier. So on those tough times, you want to make sure that you have someone there that's going to be able to support you, to remind you why it is that you started doing this to begin with, and just how bad you want it, and just to offer support. That's 6. Number 7 is act as if you already have it, like you have it right now. So if you
yes.
want $1 million, you want that $1 million? Yeah. Like, how would you act right now, knowing that you have $1 million in your bank account?
BDE.
Responsibly, right? Like, how would you be acting? How would you feel? Understand that and then invoke that all the time. Like, even when you're in a pissed off mood, if the goal is $1 million, if you're in a pissed off mood, remind yourself you got $1 million in your bank account. Yeah, yo, good. You know what? Problems you're trying to bring this way, too small. I got $1 million in my bank account. See you later.
Yeah.
Shift your whole narrative as to how it is that you're showing up in life. I promise you. And it doesn't have to be $1 million. It could be like, yeah, I got a relationship. I have somebody waiting for me at home. Right? Just like you said, Amelia, you're touching the seat and you're literally like feeling this person, this man that's gonna be your man right there, right then. Like, and it may sound crazy for a lot of people to like, oh, you're just acting crazy. Yes, if you want something so bad and it's worth you going out on a limb and acting a certain way, do it. Be audastic.
Yeah.
I always say balls to the wall. Yeah, bring it. You gotta be like, if you want, you gotta be about it. You have to be about it. And step number 8, the last one, and this is actually pretty, for me, this is like dope, right? Reward of achievement.
Yes.
Reward yourself. If you know that you're gonna be working hard at anything to achieve a specific goal, yo, do it. Like, give yourself something. Like, give yourself a treat, a luxury, something to say thank you, whether it's going to a spa for a day and treating your body and your soul and your mind and just having a you day, or like me, like I'm reading this book. The book is thick as hell. It's like, hold up.
I like it thick.
It's right over here. It's from one of my my finance my men's groups. And it's a thick book and it's like a lot of stuff. And I'm like, you know what? After I'm done with this book, I'm gonna buy myself a watch. I get to have a watch because I'm putting a lot of energy into this. So look at that. You really do like thick books.
I like thick.
We like thick
too.
Books.
Yeah, but reward. It'll make such a difference, right?
There's so much amazingness that you're saying, and I actually want to go even deeper and say why, right? Because I think the human brain also wants to know why, and if the people want the steps, they also want to know why, whether you're aware that you want to know why or not. Hold on, there's like alarms. Okay, so writing it down. And let me say this first. A lot of you know I have a degree in hypnotherapy. I've studied the subconscious mind for a really long time, neuro-linguistic programming, emotional freedom technique, so a lot of different stuff with the mind and energy and psychoanalytics and all of that stuff. So handwriting is one of the most it's a connection to your subconscious mind. That's why everyone's handwriting is different, because it's the way your subconscious mind is kind of like channeled through. And what a lot of people don't know is that it's a two-way street. And so when you write something down, it's like planting those seeds into your subconscious mind when you write something down. Other fun fact that I'm just going to throw in there that looks like a fun thing to know, because I do handwriting analysis, and you can actually, if you change, like I said, it's a two-way street. So I can analyze people's handwriting to see what's going on in their subconscious, but you can also actually consciously change your handwriting to then send a message back to change the subconscious. I'm not going to analyze that right now, but one thing I will tell you is that when you cross your T's, because I'm all about self-love, right? When you cross your T's, the height of the cross tells you your level of self-esteem. So if you notice that the cross of your T's are really low, if you want to raise your confidence and self-esteem, just cross them a little higher. And it really does work. I tell my clients this all the time. So it really does work. Also, if you want to be more visible or more confident, write bigger. That is if you write small. If you already write too big, well, that's a whole other. I won't get into that. If you want, we can talk about it another time. We could set up a consultation with me. We'll talk. But that's why writing it down is so important. So I want to incentivize you to write it down, because that is how you plant the seeds into your subconscious mind, right? Then the other piece about the feelings, like I said, it's a frequency thing. You believe that achieving this thing will make you feel a certain way, will make you vibrate at a certain frequency. And so in order to be able to receive that, you need to be operating at the same frequency of the thing that you want. So that's why, like, I work a lot with clients who are frustrated with getting ghosted and like going on lame dates with men. And especially the ghosted piece and the unavailability piece. And I say, you're attracting unavailability because you're vibrating at the frequency of unavailability. So it's not about the men that you're attracting. It's about your level of unavailability. It's usually a mind fuck for people to swallow, but when we work on it, it makes sense. So that's why the feeling it sounds corny, but it's like, what's corny is if you're trying to listen to hip hop and then you turn to the country station. So if you want to have what you want, you got to turn your station to the frequency of what you want, right? And then the other piece about the accountability and the declaring to another human being. Human beings are we're tribal creatures. We're social creatures, and we're all connected, right? We're also individual, but like when you declare something and are witnessed by at least one other person, it creates an alchemy, right? And so being witnessed by someone else, either in a declaration or in a letting go, is really, really powerful. And definitely the accountability piece, the barriers, right? Which I'll talk to that in a second, actually, because Shamik made a couple comments that I want to comment on. And then the celebration. So back to the subconscious mind. When we celebrate, we release the chemicals in our brain that tells us, ooh, yay, something good. So if you purposely celebrate after something that you've been wanting to do, it's telling your brain, give me more of this. So your subconscious starts to go in the right direction so that you can continue to take that action, right? And celebration, yes, you can buy yourself a watch, you can, all those things. And I also want to say the celebration can be really simple, but there's two very important things that it should be, which is one, physical, and two, audible. So for me, sometimes a simple celebration is just yes. So like if I'm working by myself and I'm working, let's say I'm working on a document that's just like, and like it's just something that I have to do, or paperwork that I have to do, right? We all have paperwork that's just like, right? When I accomplish that, I'll just do a simple like, yes. Or I'll be like killing it. Or at one period, mine was like, you go girl. And it's got to be something that kind of like makes you laugh, makes you giggle a little bit, because that also creates more of that dopamine, more of those chemicals that tell your brain more of this, more of this. So if you want to be more productive, you have to celebrate your productivity. So just explaining like why these things are important. So now circling back to the accountability piece, right? So Shamik was saying, I noticed, if I may, well, I'm assuming you're giving me permission because you're leaving these comments. So we talked earlier when we opened up, we talked about the words being really important and how we want to declare, right? And that we need to feel it, we need to be the frequency. So it's like, look, I really want to buy a small investment property, but also scared things may go awry with repairs. Then you also said, I would start spending that $1 million, which would not be good. So it's like, notice how when the declaration happens, there's all the ifs, ands, or buts. Now, that's where the accountability piece comes in, right? And I love, Raphael, you said it pretty much perfectly, so I'm not even going to try to replicate how you said it, but it's like, you need the people that will be there to remind you your why when you're like in the valley of despair, which you will be in the valley of despair. And there will be problems and you will fail. And like I said this actually the other night on a panel, I was like, oh, are you scared to fail? Like it was a panel for coaches, people who wanted to be coaches. And I was, oh, you're scared you're going to fail? Well, you are.
You're gonna fail.
The looks on everyone's faces, they were like, and it's like, well, you are. So
You're
great.
gonna feel a lot.
Move on.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. You're gonna feel a lot.
Exactly. And the thing that I want to say about that is not, I didn't point out those comments to shame it or say it's wrong, because actually the negation, the ifs, ands, or buts are part of your brain ability, right? So the first brain ability is to actually envision and see something possible. But the second is to also see all the reasons why it won't work. So that's natural. So you are going to have the thoughts that stop yourself. And what I see all the time with my clients and people is like, oh, there I go again, like doubting myself. And it's like, well, you're going to. So like, let that go. You're going to. It's part of your brain ability. It's the function in our brain that keeps us from jumping off a cliff with like no parachute and no water underneath. Because our brain, if we were only the first step, we'd be like, ooh, maybe I can fly. And then we would just jump and like die, right? So that it's that part of the brain that's like, or not, or you might die, right? But the problem is most people stop after that second thing, where they get the doubts, the ifs, the ands, or the buts, and then they just stop. They don't even try. But the third brain ability is like to actually resolve that and move through that. And so that's where all these steps that all of us have mentioned, as well as the accountability, come into play. And especially if you have either a mentor or a coach who has been there and has navigated that second doubting part and can tell you how to get through it. And this is why, a lot of people say they can't afford coaches and all of that stuff, but I say you can't afford not to. Like, I would not be where I am if I did not hire mentors and coaches to support me, right? And I mean, we're all coaches here, so it's not like a shameless plug. It's like a fact.
I have 5 coaches.
Yeah. I have coaches, I have psychics, I've got my astrologists, I've got the squad, right? So, I mean, we can't see our own blind spots, period. And so if you're really about creating like big shit in your life, like it will require you to get support in whatever form. You don't have to hire a coach that's like $1 million a minute. You can do a transformational workshop that's a group thing and it's like much less expensive. You could do all kinds of stuff. So I just wanted to explain the pieces of those just so that you all know like why it's important. It's not just like, yay, do these things and feel weird. It's like, there's actual science behind it and reasons why.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll look at the comments, but if any of y'all want to jump in, and I kind of blacked out there as I was talking. So
no, you went. Listen, that was a string of. So I want like, yo, if you are getting value out of this, like, please put a 1, like, send us emojis. Like, I want you guys to engage. Yo, like, she just went on and like she was just talking like blah blah blah. She was just giving you shit back to back to back, and it was amazing.
Thank you.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
That was on point.
Because this is the stuff that we like. I live for this shit. Like, I love that shit. Like, she was just like, yes. I was like, yes. So like, I just want to like put on more to that, and I just want to like build on that, because you can't build on nothing. You got to build onto things, right? You can't be consistent if you're like, if you can't build on like, you can't be working out 5 days a week if you haven't even like mastered 2 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So like, you got to start.
Yes.
You got to build on a foundation. Yes. Emojis. Ooh, I love it. I'm getting life. Thank you. So this is what I gotta say. So Raphael, yeah, you spoke about like, figure out how much time, your declaration and all that. And for a lot of people, what happens is that people get stuck in time. You saw my little note here, right? So people get stuck in time, and it's like, yo, if I tell you it's gonna take you a year or a year and a half to get the body of your dreams, you're gonna be like, nah, I'm not ready for that. Or it's gonna be like, it's going to take you 5 years to actually have that $1 million business. You're going to be like, I don't know if I can like spend 5 years. But you know what? You're actually already spending that 5 years. So you have to build on a foundation, and you got to build from the first floor to the second floor. And that's how you do it. And sometimes you can have the willpower. You can build it fast. You can be an anomaly. and like build super fast. But for the most part, you have to treat yourself like you're one of the 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world. You know what I'm saying? So don't get stuck in time. Look to be in the process, and it's all relative. When we're talking about goals, it's all relative. You're either going the wrong way or the right way. So taking steps, making progress is more important than making perfect progress. So progress over perfection always. Um, you were talking about unavailability, and like, yo, people are so for like, but why is it he? So what that all that means is that you're available for unavailability. Are you available for unavailable? I don't even see that shit. It's not even in my radar. I'm like, oh, you're available, cool, peace, what's up? Like, that's it. That's all it takes. Oh, you're okay, cool. Like, oh, you, I fuck it. That's it. Like, I'm not available for unavailability. That's it. So we were talking about writing, how it allows you, like how it rewires your subconscious, and that's very true. And so you have to think about this. We don't learn from experiences. As human beings, we don't learn from experiences. I learned that shit, and I was like, what? That's not true. I learned from experience. But no, we learn from reflecting from our experience. When we reflect from our experience and think about, well, what would I have done differently? Now you have tools to do something differently for when something shows up. So it's not about learning from experience. Sometimes we don't learn from experience. We learn from reflecting. So writing allows us to reflect because we're actively doing something that makes us reflect and go into our mind. So that's why writing is so powerful. And the last piece, oh no, that's it. No, yeah, I'm done.
We have a question from Erica. No, thank you so much. And thank you all for the hearts and the likes and the questions. Erica would like us to expand on step 6 about creating a system of accountability. So, Raf, do you want to take that one? That was your step.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And with that one, it can be as awesome as getting a life coach, right?
Nice.
Or as
direct.
Or as easy.
My website is AmeliaFortes.com.
Plug it in. Plug it in.
So more like fitness, holistic coach. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it could be as simple as just having an accountability buddy, which is somebody. If you know that somebody else has a goal, you can arrange something that works for you, whether it's calling each other every day to track your progress or a couple of days a week, like whatever it is that works for you and your buddy. You can do that just so that you can continue to check in, so that you know that when it comes to this specific matter, that when you hit a bump or you're feeling a certain way, or you just had like a day that was just off, you have this particular person to call so that they can support you to continue on your journey. And I'm dancing merengue all of a sudden. That was cool.
I'm trying to figure out how to make it where you're at the center, but I can't figure it out. Sorry.
Yeah, with the accountability buddy, like I would say, if you have big goals, like if you're creating big changes or you want to create dramatic changes in your life, things that are going to shift the way that you're showing up and the way that you're living, I would say definitely invest in a life coach. Same way, if you are trying to gain weight or lose weight, the best way for you and the healthiest way for you to get there is to invest your money into a personal trainer. I don't care what anybody says. The best way that you can possibly spend your money is on yourself. And that's not what you're going to be wearing, but really what you're putting into your mind and your spirit. That is always going to change the frequency as to how it is that you're going to show up, which eventually is going to make you have more money, period. There's a quote that I have over here. I wrote it down yesterday, and it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Roosevelt, right? So a lot of times we stay stuck in the question of how would it look like to do this? What if that? What if that? You know what? Grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and just start writing things down. And even just through that act of writing alone, you might see that the next thing you know, you might have half a play written. That's how I've written a few of my plays. right? Because I'm also a writer. I'm an actor writer. I've written plays of just like, instead of like just having the idea in my mind, let me just grab something, to the point where when I do get an idea now, I've trained myself that I'll be mid sentence with someone and I'm like, you know what? Hold on a minute. Where's my phone? And I have to get it out and regurgitate this thing that if I leave it in my mind will evaporate.
Yeah.
It will never happen again, right? So get used to being with yourself in a way that you understand how it is that you work. Be honest with yourself, and also understand that anything that you want to achieve in life is going to take some work. So you can continue to want it, or you can start continuing to achieve it.
Yeah, I love that. And I just want to add on, I love the piece about getting an accountability buddy or buddies. And just to add on to that, because, you know, a lot of times, like, you don't want it to be the blind leading the blind, right? So find someone who you gel with, who you like, but also maybe where you complement each other and can support each other, like to help elevate each other, right? Because, you know, I know, like, it's funny when so when I was single and I really was declaring this partnership, and I realized like I'm hanging around a bunch of single people who also are available for unavailability and think all men are assholes. So I made it a point to hang out with a lot of married people, and that totally elevated my conversation, my internal conversation around relationships, or even single people who have been in long-term relationships, right? And then when I was with my partner, we always hung out with, like, not always, I mean, we didn't ditch our single friends, but like for the most part, we hung out with married couples. And when our single friends would hang out with us, they elevated too, just from like being around us and like the way that we were with each other in partnership. So, you know, I would say it might be tempting to just like pick the next person that you're like, oh my God, let's be accountability buddies, right? But if you're both kind of like fiery people that don't get shit done, you're more like starters, you're just going to be like enabling that, right? So if you're like a starter, spontaneous person, you might want someone more earthy and grounded and a finisher. And because then you can also help them take more risks and be more spontaneous, right? And the best way that I can say to figure out like what you are is I actually have a self-love assessment on my website, ameliafortes.com, which I'll put it back up here. But if you go to my website and you take the self-love assessment, you can see like what kind of person you are in terms of the way that you uniquely do things. And it'll tell you like who your opposite is, which is actually going to be like your best kind of accountability partner is your opposite. Even though you might not be attracted to them energetically right away, because usually like attracts like fire. Like I remember when I would have all these accountability partners and project buddies that were like me, and it's like we were just like and like not getting anything done until I learned how to value kind of like the more grounded finisher people, and they learned to value my like spontaneous, fiery startup energy. And then we work really well together, right? So the accountability partners that I have right now they ground me, they pause me when I get a little too wild, right? They reflect, and they also have experiences that I don't have and vice versa, right? So you want it to be someone who complements you, but definitely to the piece about hiring someone. You know, this is not a shameless plug. Like none of us would be in this line of work if we did not invest in ourselves too. And I make leaps and bounds when I invest into someone. And I always say stretch with that investment. Like if you feel comfortable with the money you're investing and you're just like, oh, whatever, you're not going to show up. Money follows energy, or energy follows money. And when you invest in yourself, like you will get the work done. And with that being said, just like finding an accountability partner, there's a ton of coaches out there, right? There's a ton of healers out there. You want someone who you feel safe with, who you vibe with, and also who has created what you want to create. Well, that last one, that's up to you to decide. For me, that's a thing that I want. And someone who maybe has a similar story, that's not necessarily, like, it's really up to you, right? Because a lot of people hire coaches. I've hired coaches that did not gel with me simply because I was so desperate to like make a change, which is not the right way to go either. Like you want to it's just like any relationship. You want to choose someone you feel safe with, that you really believe will get you there. So I just wanted to like add that on to those two pieces around creating a system of accountability. And don't underestimate it, right? Because I actually sometimes would underestimate the whole accountability thing. But I have like my accountability meetings every week on Tuesday, and I'm like, oh shit, like I can't not tell my partner that I did nothing. So I get stuff done. You don't underestimate. I've also had accountability partners where we check in every morning, just like via text or like a quick 5-minute phone call. What are my intentions? What am I going to get done today? And then like at the end of the day, we just text like, got it all done, did it, good. So it's like any other relationship, you create it however you want to create it. There's a lot of other questions in here too. Jeremy has a question. What if you declared something? Oh, what, Felix?
I was answering him through text.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. What if you? I was just going to read the question though. What if you declare something and something else shows up? Does that mean one of the steps went haywire? And
yeah. So what I asked him was like, wait, what was this? What I asked him was that. I forgot. Hold on. I'm having a moment. It's okay. We have moments all the time.
I'll say this to that. Contrast is also as important as what you actually want. So I used to always, and what I mean by contrast is what you're saying, Jeremy, if I declare something but something else shows up. And if we're making up a story about that, then that's usually just based in judgment and still not trusting and surrendering to the universe, right? Because what if that other thing is part of the receiving of the thing, right? And I'll tell you this, like before I met my last relationship, I had one of like, I don't want to say it was one of my biggest heartbreaks, but it was one of the most shocking disappointments that I had, because I was like dating this guy that I was feeling really good about, and then he kind of disappeared for like a couple months, and then we spoke again and he was like, I'm married. And I was just like,
good for him.
What? Now if I would have taken that to be like, oh, I did the steps wrong, or I messed up, which maybe part of me did, then I would have done a disservice to myself. But what I ended up interpreting that as, that much of a shock allowed me to really unhook from my past, not just unhook from him, but from that kind of bullshit. Because I was like, when he's like, oh, by the way, I'm married, and I was like, what? Like, I was just like, yo, I am really unavailable for unavailability. Like, no, never again. And I felt it. I felt the shift, and never again have I like messed with that kind of energy in my life, and it never came back in. So as much as I can demonize that guy for being a total dick or whatever, and if you're watching, hey boo, you know who you are, because we're still friends too, but like he gave me such a gift, and even though it hurt in the moment, he gave me such a gift, because I was able to just be like, yo, never again. So that's what I mean by contrast. That's what you're talking about. Contrast is just as powerful as actually receiving what you want, because when you receive what you don't want, it does help you get clarity. So don't judge the contrast either. Everything is happening for you, right? Everything is happening for you. So don't judge how it's all happening. It's all part of the journey.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I asked him if what he meant was that what showed up was a different outcome. So I redirected to like, well, if you are getting a different outcome, is just letting you know that what you're doing is what you're doing is getting you what you're getting. So you have to. I'm sauced. Fuck, like I can't even think now. I'm gonna stop. Hold on.
The next
I answered the question.
Okay. Well, let's Jeremy, do you feel that question's answered? And then let us know if you need more, and then we can give you more, because we're gonna wrap up soon anyway. So I'll address it. So let us know, Jeremy. And then this question, do you think fear stops people from declaring their goals because we're so concerned with how it will look like or should look like? Yes, period. Yes. One of the, like, the reason why the actual declaring of it and like, what do you want piece is so important is because a lot of us aren't even there at that step because there's so much we still have to let go of, right? Jeremy, you know this, but my 5 deceptions methodology and framework, deception number 1, denying what you really want. We're all guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. I have to constantly check in and with my clarity and my intention for what I really want. And yeah, fear does stop us from declaring it because sometimes we feel pain when we declare what we want. I remember when I was going through the momentum journey, I thought I wanted, okay, y'all are going to laugh at this, but one of the first things I declared, because I was working on Wall Street at the time, right? So I was working at a bank as a financial analyst. And so I knew that I wanted to declare a different career. The first thing I declared, and I really thought I wanted this, was to be a high school math teacher. And I'm laughing. I love my high school math teachers though. That's why, like, I love my high school math teachers, and I'm not laughing at that as a job. I'm laughing because that is so out of alignment for what I want, not because of the actual job. But I really thought that. I really thought that, and I declared it, and I like went for it, and I did all these things for it. And you know what? It didn't pan out. I got like rejected from like every program that I applied for and all of that, right? And I remember I was in this workshop with Sylvia High, who does some of the momentum trainings. But anyway, it was this like piece of paper that we had to like draw out our map. It was like a whole exercise, right? And I remember I was sitting there, and I was sitting next to my ex at the time. Well, he was my boyfriend at the time. So he's sitting next to me, and I'm like trying to write high school math teacher, right? And like I couldn't write it. And he could tell, like, I was just like this, and he like could feel my energy, and he like looks over from his paper, and he's like, "You good? Like, are you okay?" And I was like, "No, like, I'm not okay. Like, it's a lie. It's a lie. Like, I don't want this." And he was like, "So what do you want? Like, write what you want." I was like, "This is a lie." And I was like, "But I've already declared it, and I've already told all these people." And he was like, "And like, this is your life. This is your paper." And so, yeah, it was like, I want to be in front of the camera. I want to be on TV. I want to be an online personality. Like, these are the things that I want to do. And like, there was so much pain that I had to like do to, and I needed that permission. So back to like accountability buddy, in a sense, he was like my buddy in that moment. Cause he was like, what's in your heart, girl? Like, what do you want? And those are the kind of accountability buddies you want. The people that are like, forget all that noise. Like who are you really? So that's my long answer to that. But I do want to start to like wind down with all of this. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining. But yeah, any final words, like what we want to leave everyone with? I'd love to just kind of have everyone's voice jump in for at least one more time before we wrap it up for tonight.
Yeah, jump in and just do it. Declare it, jump in, just be in action around it.
I love it. I love it. Felix, no pressure.
No, I love that you say quick. It's you're like programming it before.
I'm a pro.
No, you are a pro, and I appreciate that about you. No, so yeah, outcomes are just feedback, right? So it's just letting you know that what you're doing is working to get you what you're getting. So this is what I was trying to like get to in my mind, but I was feeling the wine kind of hard. I'm gonna be honest, right? I'm gonna be honest. So if you're finding yourself there, you have to understand that you can no longer continue to keep doing that, because that's the definition of insanity. So you want to start strategizing on how to move to where you want to go. And here's the thing about all these conversations, like we spoke about a lot of different stuff. These are things that happen in many different pockets of time. Like this is not something that happens in a day, in a week, in a month. Like this is things that happen consistently. And it doesn't happen with just you, it happens with people. So it comes with understanding where people are, so that you can know how to influence them, so that you can attract what you want. Like, it's so much more than just what you want. There's actually a way to be tactful, to be strategic, to get what you want. It's not just like you just can't go into the battlefield and like swing your sword. You have to, put landmines, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's you can't just go out there and think you're gonna get what you get through a straight line. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be ups, downs, lefts, rights. Like, we're living in a 3-dimensional world, and you're not gonna get anywhere by thinking in a 2-dimensional way. So that's all I have to say.
I love that. And anyone who has been on the journey that you're trying to go on, they'll tell you that. Anyone who tells you otherwise, they're either not trying, they're not in the arena, as Brene Brown talks about. So thank you so much all for being here. Wind Down Wednesday. As always, we are here every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Sydney, and Quarantine Cafe, now hosted by me and Raphael, Monday through Fridays, every day, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hey, Mercury retrograde. 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And it does stream on Facebook on Raphael's page. But if you want to join the Zoom as well. I've got a lot of exciting things coming up too, so just keep it locked here. If you want to get on my email list, I know people don't like email lists and they're like, oh, I don't need another email, but I promise you my shit is dope. Like, I work hard on the content I put out, and I hope, and if you like this kind of stuff, you will like the stuff that I put out on my email list. So definitely join that. Take the self-love quiz, do all the things, and you'll get to hear all the exciting things that I have coming up. Or that we all have coming up, because I promote all these people too as well on my email list. So yeah, thank you so much for being here.
I'm actually now seeing, because I hit a button and I see where all the comments are now. Because I was like, we're going on Facebook. I'm like, where are all the questions coming from? And I'm not seeing anything on Facebook. And now I'm seeing that it's over here. I pressed the button, and this is what happened.
Okay. I knew that guests could see comments. I just didn't know where. But Shamik is asking how to join the Zoom. So Raphael will post the Zoom information in here
below.
Yeah.
Okay, is that another button? Because I don't see it.
I miss Kat.
You could go back to
I really miss Kat today.
All right, for anyone who wants to join me and Amelia at the Quarantine Cafe, just come to my Facebook page. My name is Rafael Moreno. Raphael with an F, because I'm Latin. Thank you. And I have all the information there, because I don't see where the electronics is over here. This is like causing me heartache right now. And also, tomorrow night. So tomorrow night we have the Quarantine Cafe at night, and tomorrow's a very important conversation, because we're going to be having a conversation around the trans community and how it's not being addressed. So by all means, that's going to be at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. We're also going to have, if you're part of Momentum, Leslie Butterfly Soul is going to be joining us, and also community activists, and it's going to be a great conversation. So hope to see you guys there, and I'll post it all up on my Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next week at 9 p.m. Eastern. Bye.